A coward dies 1,000 deaths. A soldier dies but once.
Welcome all, this is Blaezer RTW. I hope you are well. I'm good. Been busy at work, so just trying to crash out one of these, and what a beauty, what a beauty. If you're not going to skip one of them through to like the end, make it this one. It's a nice little tussle, so run that bath and get your laptop or your iPad set up and get a beer or a glass of wine on the go. Cab Sauvignon would be my choice, and let's rock and roll. So where shall we go? It's Rome v Pikes, as you can see. Let's have a look at the Romans first. On our left is Esrax. He has gone the Scipii. You can see he's got himself set out in two armies, which is, and a sort of checkerboard to him, which is something I notice. You can't see them, but I'm doing my inverting brackets elite players. Yeah, joking, he is obviously an elite player. So yeah, it's something I've noticed that is often done against Pike, so we'll see how effective he uses it. Looks like he's got 3 Archer Auxilia and then 4 Cav. I'm in the centre. I've gone Scipii. I've gone SBQR. I've gone for my sort of my own anti-Greek build, which isn't really checkerboard, but just a bit sort of, just something out front just to, help mess up the lines a little bit and get them into a bit of a W, and then I should be able to flank something like that anyway. 3 Archer Auxilia, 4 Praetorian Cav. On the right is IOW Elton John, who I guess goes by another name. I don't know who it is though, but yeah, if I use the wrong name then apologise, but I'll just use Elton John, that makes it easier. He's gone the Scipii as well. He's got Urban out front, a legionary first cohort in there, and then another one there, and that looks to me like it's sort of 2 armies as well. And then he's gone 6 Praetorian Cav. Now these will be interesting, 3 Pike builds, so we'll see how we go with them. So on their left hand flank against our right is Titan Sparky. He's got 6 Companion Cav, 2 Cretan archers, and then he has got some Royal Pikes in loose up front, a line of 3. Then he's got another row of Royal Pike that isn't in open order yet, I guess. Then another row of 3, and then a final row of 4. Makes it easy maybe to split into 2 forces there with that first lot up front or out to the side protecting his cav and archers. We'll see how he does. In the centre is Legionary. He's a Titan, but he's a young Titan, or a tit as I call him. So yeah, he's obviously a good player. So it'll be interesting to see how far along he is in his development. So he's gone 6 Cretan archers. I obviously just missed them as they were starting to move. He looks like he's gone very similar build. The first 3 Spartans are there with a unit in front of them, but the open order one's actually replaced the one that was at the front in effect. And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 Spartans there. So that's another one that's 2 armies. And then another interesting one to look at will be the Seleucids, who is Trajan of the BIA clan at the time, but now of the Brotherhood. He's got 3 Silver Shield Legionaries up front with an archer, and then he's gone for ye olde 4 up front, 4 behind but 1 less deep, and then a couple at the back, and then he's got his cataphracts with his general in amongst his cataphracts. Yeah, it's quite interesting sometimes. Obviously, first thing would be he's got his general in with his cataphracts. I guess that's because he knows they're going to be the devastators, but you still want your infantry to stick around, and the cataphracts are pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen them both ways, and I don't really sort of have a incline either way. I don't use them enough. I'm not good enough. So it'd be interesting to see if that general sticks around to the end and if it makes a difference. You can see they're swapping straight out. So Legionary is moving across to this right hand side to face up against Esrax. He's moving into the centre. It looks like there's just a bit of stuff going on at the moment, so I will cut you out and then cut you back in when we get a little bit closer. Okay, so I'm going to play it from here to do it justice. Let's have a little run up and down and see what we are dealing with. So as we were seeing, Legio was moving out to this right hand side with his Spartans. He's got three of them in quite a tight formation to the right hand side, two cataphracts in behind with two Cretans just in front of them. They look like they're doubling up on one of Esrax's archers. His main army is still in one piece effectively. He's in quite a tight little, almost like a square there though. The general for the cataphracts is in behind him, so that's the right hand side. As we move along, let's have a look how Esrax is faring up against him. Actually, we'll sort of do it like that. So Esrax has moved his archers up. I forgot how many he had. Was it 3 or 4, something like that? But basically, he's going to get wiped out pretty quickly by the Cretans. We'll call that his secondary force because his general's over here on the right hand side of his army, touching up against my left flank there in the centre. That's got 6 urbans, a decimated archer in front of him over there, and then quite a big gap over to his secondary force, which has got 7 urbans and his cav and 2 decimated archer auxilia in front of him. I'm moving up, I'm pushing up. My archers haven't been decimated yet, but I probably haven't engaged them yet. Whether I'm going to now or not, we'll see. Really, I want to keep them for the pikes. That'll be. I'm not worried about skirmishing because they're just going to win. So I'm pushing up a little bit with my formation. I'm still in the centre. Looks like Elton John was sending one of his units in probably to skirmish with some of these archers that are running away, and my cav's in behind mine on the centre. Elton John's moving his main infantry from the right over to the left to sort of marry up with mine. His cav's over there on the right as well. So facing up to him, Sparky has sent all his cav out in 3 pairs, like as he likes to do, over on our right flank there left, with a couple of his Cretans. There's a couple of the Greek archers have opened out all across the main line of the infantry. Macedon's main infantry is out here on the left, facing up against. There's quite big gaps between them though. He's not done anything with it though, like split it or shown his cards yet, shall we say. 2 cataphracts between his army and Trajan's in the middle, who's just sort of sat there with his archers in front, no doubt taking digs at things. So I think that's most of it. We'll let it play through because it's quite a nice little one this to see how 3 different lots of pikes with 3 factions face up against 3 Roman players, and 3 Roman players who have got sort of, it looks like Esrax has got a definite technique he wants to use. Elton John has got one that he looks like he wants to use, and I've sort of just experimented and probably going to keep an eye on them and just copy. So it looks like Elton John has sent in a unit of cav on their left, our right, to go and take out some archers, but he got scared off by the cataphracts and no doubt Sparky's cav that's making its way over. I'll try not to be too sketchy with the camera if I can help it, but you can see it's quite a wide battlefield, so I'm trying to keep it all in if I can. Looks like Legionary on the right is moving his secondary force, bringing that back in quick smart along with a few of his archers. The cataphracts are retreating with him. The cataphract general's still in amongst his main army, which looks like it's shifted left. It might not have done though. Esrax is being aggressive on this side, so I need to push up and support him, and also I would probably suggest that the Seleucid infantry is possibly the weak point of their line. So if I could get in amongst that and get my teeth into that and let these guys, maybe Elton John defend against Sparky on the right and Esrax push up on Greece on the left. So it looks like Esrax has got a few archers going on the left with his cav. He's also split his forces. His secondary forces quite on the far left, and his main forces sort of coming over to marry up with the main Greek force. Looks like I was trying to chase down these Seleucids in the middle, but I sort of bottled it because I was getting up to Greece. I probably want to give a platform for Esrax, so I don't want to get caught doing anything particularly stupid, but never stopped me before. Our Cav's still sort of behind there, no doubt getting shot up. Looks like Elton John is ready to push on. Obviously, we want to get our teeth into the infantry. That's what we want to do, but it's proven, they're good players. They're going to want to do it on their terms. Still pushing up together, so that's pretty good. Esrax on the left-hand side has sent his cav in with his secondary force to try and take out a few of the archers. That's pretty good. He's whittled them right down as well, so they probably won't come back. Most of their archers are on our right flank, shooting up either Elton John's cav or his infantry. My archers still aren't doing a lot. They're just sat back. So, yep, they're waiting for the pikes. My cav's still sat behind my infantry in the centre. I haven't pushed up any more from a minute ago. Esrax has turned his secondary force 90 degrees to face inwards towards the Greeks, which is turning back to face him at a slight angle. Looks like I'm pushing over to the right a touch now, maybe to try and just separate them, because we don't want to like a wall of pikes. We want to be able to get into the side of the armies, or I do anyway. I want to try and engage the Seleucids and then take out a few of the Greeks to pin them, so Esrax can do a heavy flanking action. And as long as we're quick about it, he should be able to get behind, because obviously he's a good player. So Elton John's pushing up. He probably doesn't like the fact that he's having to turn his flank to all of this cav and archers that they've got set out on our right flank. I really need to push right up, throw everything up these legionaries. Basically, I need to get right up there so that he can turn back to face Macedon, but have his flank towards the archers. Esrax is still moving his army up. What's left of his archers is sat behind him on the left, along with his cav, which has probably taken a couple of digs, but is not too bad. My cav's still out the back. Looks like I'm going off to help the right hand flank. Nordy. I don't know why I keep thinking it's Nordy, but I'm going to try and say Elton John, but it probably isn't. We're not going to catch the cav, so yeah, he's done well. He's gone for the archers. You can see the cavs moved off. I've run my archers up because I was hoping Sparky was going to engage my cav, and I could try and, if he ran away, then I could take him out of my archers. They turned back into the centre. Looks like Elton John did get a few of the archers, so that's pretty good. They'll probably come back, though. Sparky's bringing his cav back in over on the left, but he's thought twice about it, or at least he's going to wait until he's got a royal pike over, because obviously there's quite a lot of cav there. Mine's coming up as well, so yeah, he's thought twice about that. That's pretty good by him. I would have probably gone for it, no mate. He's trying to bring his cav back. He's got two right out the back, two with these Cretan archers still out to their left, our right, and then two with his main army. Two cataphracts are still in behind his main infantry on the left. The three cataphracts that were on the right with the Greeks and the Seleucids are starting to make their way over. That's including the general. Let's go and have a look at this end of what's going on. Esrax has brought his secondary force back in now, so he's just got one army. Looks like he wants to push up now that Greece has tucked himself in. So it'd be interesting to see how we all attack the pikes and how they defend, or how they go about, preempting what we're going to do, sort of thing. So looks like Elton John's made his move. He's shoved his first unit of Urbans into that Peeler unit that was sort of a Peeler unit but wasn't. Right. Hoping you're taking it all in. I'm seeing cataphracts moving down this end, not too much otherwise. Elton John's bringing his cav back in. Sparky's cav is still well out the back. I'm trying to get hold of these legionaries. I obviously didn't think this through, that I was facing the Seleucids, because I should have put these guys into Peeler Shield and then got rid of, probably moved up and run into these and try and got rid of them. So not too much going on here at the left, but a bit of posturing at the moment. You can see Esrax puts his general into Testudo. On this right-hand side, I'm not pushing up yet, but it looks like Elton John's going to take a dig at this first legionary peeler unit for me in the centre. That's forcing Trajan to move his pikes up, so that's pretty good. Elton John's going for the sort of rush it all forward and try and pull them out, which is pretty good. Sparky's pretty good defence though, and good with his cav, so that's nice there. He's layered him up, and that's the legionary cohort as well, so that'll lower the morale. So he needs to get some stuff over there. Yeah, he has. He's seen he's got caught out there, so I expect he'll keep good eye on it now. It looks like Trajan sends in a Seleucid through the gap in the middle between Sparky and his own infantry in the centre. He's taken some digs there at the back of the Skippy Eye infantry. I'm still not engaged yet. I need to be pushing up now. Esrax has split his army. He's got him in a nice deep formation. The first lot are in blocked and sort of just taking there. He wants legionary to push forward and get disturbed if his line. If he's something as it is, he's pulling his flank round. So it looks like he's staying where he is legionary. So he's got him pinned now, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets him. The Seleucid's main infantry is moving, so I'm going to push up and try and get rid of the legionaries. It's all like kicking off over here on the left. I didn't miss too much though. Looks like that Seleucid's going to get caught. I've sent a couple of cav in there, but just looking, my archers are over there on the right hand side out behind Esrax at the moment, so they're going to look to come and probably take out some of the Greeks or the Seleucids, depending if they'll reach or not. Looks like Elton John's going to initiate phase 2 of take out the archers. Not sure he's going to get them though. That's given Sparky a chance to peel off a couple of pikes. Now he can use them to get into this cav battle that's just about to kick off on his left. Yeah, he's got them in there. He's dropped the pikes. That's quite nice. Let's go and just check up the other end. I hope you're keeping an eye on it, or just because I'm not keeping it. I've moved up a couple of units to plug the gap. Let's just stop that for 1 second. Because I need a drink. Oh, that's better. And B, so we can have a quick look at what's going on. Let's start at that end, and then we can work our way up to the end where we'll stay. So legionary looks like he's going to keep his main block as it is and then peel off units just to hold the line so that he can't get flanked. Not a bad idea. We'll see if you often run out of units though, if you see what I mean, so we'll see how that goes. Esrax is going for the old Testudo up front thing, apart from this one which he's running. He was probably trying to get them before they set into phalanx. Otherwise, he's now set out his main army in just a straight line behind the 2 Testudos and his other secondary forces in checkerboard. In the middle, looks like I just got rid of the first peeler unit. I'll try and get rid of that second one and try and get in amongst them. My infantry still lined up with Esrax's there for the main part. Nice wide formation. Looks like I'm plugging this gap over on the right. Trajan moved his units up to marry up with Macedon, and Greece has even thrown a couple of units to shore up his flanks. That's a nice tight defensive formation they've got there. I think what I did is I threw him over to stop the Cataphracts being able to get to the side of his army. Now they're over there. It looks like I'm either going to put them in Testudo, so if they decide to walk forward, they'll have to break formation. Or they might be moving out of Testudo. On the right, looks like Elton John's committed quite a lot of his infantry into it. He's not really going for the flanking effect. He's going for the just try and run them in there. Ideally, probably only want 1 or 2 going in there and then whipping around the side. And then on the right, the Cretan archers are at the back. They've just been routed off, but they'll come back. Macedon Sparky's got a few cav coming in from the back, but into the back of Elton John, who is sandwiched between, at the moment, 2 Royal Pikes and the other part of Sparky's cav. The Cataphracts aren't doing too much at the moment. The 3 of them, I think one of them got hit by half of my cav. 3 of them are in behind his infantry. I thought there was one more somewhere. Sorry, I missed that one going, but there we go. So yeah, let's crack on. Yeah, Elton John's getting the hell out of there. I need to reshape my cav and bring it over just as a bit of a deterrent more than anything. Looks like the cataphracts are going for a little strike. So yeah, Sparky's raised his pikes to let him through. He didn't run them though, so yeah, that's a bit unlucky with that. But they should still do some damage once they start getting involved. You can see the cav's been retreated, but Sparky's in aggression mode now, so he's going to push up a couple of units. This will free him up to either A, take out the cav, or B, do what he's about to do and come into the back of these units here. And what he'll be able to do is lift his own pikes, obviously, hit the two of them, reel them up, and then suddenly he's got three on the overlap and he can start turning over. So we need to get a move on this end because we want to basically knock out the Greeks before Sparky knocks out Scipio, and I just need to sort of stick around and not do anything too stupid. One of those units in Testudo, one of them isn't. Yeah, Legionaries committed those two units he was protecting the flank with forward, so that's quite nice. That's what you want. You want them to come onto you a bit, and that's opened up a couple of gaps. So as time moves on, we'll see if we can spill anything through there. As it is, I'm moving my archers right round now along with thingy. So once we get round to this side, I'm either going to hit up the side of these or the back of these. I'll probably run my own units into these and then start firing at the back of them just to help. On the left hand side, sorry I missed a little bit of that. Looks like he used his cav, yeah, but he sort of got taken out. I think the Urbans got a bit of there. So what happened has happened, and he's got a couple of units to defend against any cav strikes on the left, or at least force them out wide, and he can turn a couple of units in to take out the remnants of the Scipii. So yeah, Esrax has moved his cav in behind mine. As it is as well, he's moving that secondary force all the way around now. Legionary hasn't got any spare units now. He's actually had to commit his general, like I said, into my units, so I'm trying to force through that little gap there. If I can just push through that little gap, I'm trying. Can you see I got him in guard mode, and I'm just all clicking, banging it there. So I'm probably not paying attention to anything else at the moment. So if I could just get one unit in, get him in behind that Greek general, that would be nice, because you know, the morale of the Spartans is pretty good as well, but every little helps. Esrax is bringing his cav back over to help himself out. Looks like Sparky's making pretty short work of that. You know, he's got him surrounded now. He's going to raise his pike. Here you go. This is probably what he did a minute ago. Raise his pikes, chuck the two cav in there, get them surrounded, push everything in there, and then as soon as that one goes, that's that. I'm not looking yet. I'm obviously worried about this infantry fight going on here on the left. I hope you can see it all, what's going on. He's pushing his infantry up that was protecting that little rush. He's going to move in and just move in on my cav now. I definitely need to move that out of the way. I've moved a couple of units back. The whole thing I like to do with pikes is just sort of keep them split up and jaggedy in that. So what I'm going to be attempting to do now is not necessarily hold them up in a conventional way, but just throw things in as they are and try and be in an awkward formation to defend, if you see what I mean. So a couple of units into Testudo. We'll see how long I can hold up there. We've got a few units going for the Greeks in the centre. Looks like Esrax has gone for the big hit on those Greek units on the right-hand side. Yeah, right. What I decided to do, because it's quite a nice little battle, I didn't want to discredit Esrax in any way. So I decided to cut you guys out and restart the battle and forward it all the way through. And then I forgot I was making a cup of tea, and I come back and it was gone well past what it was, where we were in the first time round, so I had to do it again. Not that you'll notice, but yeah, the things I do for you guys, eh? Right, so we are at the stage now, so Sparky's not quite reached me with his reached my cav with his pikes left. Let's just have a little look at what actually Elton's got left. So little dribs and drabs. A couple of them are alright. Oh yeah, he's got some decent cav. Yeah. He's not depleted, but yeah, he's lost a little bit. Legionary first cohort came back, couple of urbans out the back. Otherwise, he's got a couple of urbans in amongst this, and if you remember, this is where Sparky hit him. I did watch that bit again from a minute ago, and he did the same thing. He just lifted his pikes and hit him from the side, round a couple of them off, and that was enough. So as we make our way up, I've got my units. One of them's in Testudo, one of them isn't. That's pretty much just so that if he moves forward, they'll be jaggedy, they won't be all one line like they are now. Esrax's cav is in behind mine in the centre, which is about to turn into our right flank, he feels. And if you remember, in a bit of a race to try and wrap up the Greeks before he wrapped up the Scipii, so we've not got long on the clock left. I make it until 125 that they're right up here. So let's have a bit of a closer look at this end of the battle, just so we can see the intricacies of what is going on. So I sent a little urban in. Legionary sent one of his Spartans that was there on the flank up against them, and Trajan has sent a couple forward. Otherwise, his units are sort of facing up against mine. I've got a row of 4 along with my general, 2 on the right, and then it looks like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 on the left-hand side of the centre. I did just break through. Do you remember I was saying that about trying to get through that gap? I did make it through. Whether it's enough or not, we'll see. But what it does, it just causes chaos in amongst the pikes. They're not in a nice line they can nice easily rack up. They're going to have to think about what they've got to do. And those seconds, make all the difference when you're up against Rome, and we can just, fling them around and know that it's going to be all good, whatever way we sort of go, in that. Well, I know it isn't, but you know what I mean. So let's have a look what Esrax is doing at the moment. So you can see he's engaged his front line of both his armies just to tie him down. Legionary looks like he's getting overwhelmed a bit. He's run out. This was his first couple, and he sent one out here. There's a lot of dead ones there. Guess Esrax is coming on the side of this one, and he's got going in on the right on that one. The main secondary force has actually come full circle all the way around, so we're behind the enemy lines now on this right hand side. As we look at it, the enemy's right, obviously our left. Yeah, this Spartan here is tied up. The general's tied up in the middle. I've broken through the centre here, so if I can break through and just tie up these legionaries, these silver shield pikes, sorry. Even if I do that, that's fine. Or if I turn back on the general, Esrax can, keep them occupied while his others go in there. So it shouldn't be too bad. My archers are here. I'm guessing they're firing on the Greeks. So let's have a little look. You can keep an eye on it in the back. Oh yeah, the cataphracts. So there's a bit of cataphracts here chasing off those Spartans, and then there's 2 in the back. And I think they've gone. So yeah, my guys are starting to flame the Greek infantry. You can see Esrax is moving his infantry that is behind the enemy lines back in. This is causing Legionary to retreat that one unit that was stuck out on the right that was a sort of backup one. He's going to come over and try and take out these urbans. It's not looking great. So yeah, here you can see that Trajan here on the left. Just because we've hit another phase, let me just, because it's almost like a battle within itself. If you have a look over here on the left, we're at the stage where Scipii, Elton's pretty much gone. All I want to do now really is just try and just don't let Sparky get too much past me, or don't make it easy for him, if you see what I mean. I need to make it so that this whole bunch is wrapped up, so that Esrax can turn and face. And if I can take out as many of them as possible, then that'll be pretty good. So what I'm doing at the moment, I've turned a couple of them back just to face up. There was a couple, if you remember, of Scipios Urban, so he's just holding them up there. I've come into the side of this Pike. This is going to force Sparky to lose one of his royals to take this guy out. Or he's going to hit me with some cav or something like that. I need to do something with my cav. I'm obviously so worried about the infantry. This is still a few months ago, so even now I'd probably forget about it. But what I like about that is I'm quite nicely spaced out. So when they start attacking me, it's going to be in bits, rather than just one big line of them. My second half of my army is tying down the Seleucids in the centre as we look at it. We're behind the enemy lines. The Seleucids has sent half of his pikes out to defend his right flank, because I think he sees the writing is on the wall for the Greeks. Esrax is forming his cav up behind his lines in his general as he moves into the wedge formation. Over here on the right hand side, I didn't see that he had chariots, so that's pretty good for him. Trajan's on our left, their right. My archer's about to take a dig from some side chariots, which I haven't seen. If I do, then obviously they're going to get flamed up and go into run amok straight away. What's that there then? So sorry, that was Elton's cav was in behind Esrax's main infantry. Esrax has got his cav out here right on the far right, as we look at the enemy's right. In behind, he's got 2 units going after the floating Greek that was there, and then he's moved 2 back in behind the general. I've just caused a right mess there, if you see what I mean. There's no easy way for them to defend. It looks like they've had to do what they've had to do, which is make a decision about whether to try and stop this. But I think they were about 10-15 seconds too late, or just accept that it's going to happen and try and shore up a defence here so that Sparky can wrap us up from that way, and it's just who finishes first. So let's have a make sure. So I'll keep it down here. You'll have to keep an eye up there as well because we're starting to catch up with the battle. But let's get it cracking. Yeah, so Sparky's taking us out on the left as we look at it. As it is, everything else coming in. In come those 5 chariots from behind the Greeks. They've gone straight away. 1 more flaming and they'll run amok, but unfortunately they're in all the Scipii. The Greeks have been completely surrounded and bunched up. That's time for the cav to go in. He's routed off that first lot of infantry that's there. Now it's the general and the blob that was tied down with me. They've got the Seleucids near them though, so they're not going to rout as easy because they have got the numbers. Trajan's moving his pikes up to come into the side of mine, which are coming into the side of the general. I've got a couple going into the side of his pikes, so it's quite nice. Sorry, I'm a bit not with it, so I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. I hope you don't mind. Right, so the 2 cataphracts, which are fresh, are in the centre effectively out the back. I'm going to be talking about it from the enemy's point of view now, so we've switched sides. So on the left we've got Sparky. My infantry, half of it's in Testudo, half of it isn't, half of it is facing the wrong way. It's just causing a bit of a mess, bit of a brawl, causing it to be a bit, bring it down to my level, not get into a tactical masterclass with Sparky because I'll lose it. Yeah, my cow's been destroyed, so there we go. That was stupid of me, but still, it distracts them for 30 seconds longer, doesn't it? It's not going to come in much use in the end. Well, it will do, but yeah, that's it. So I've got 1 unit taken out, a couple of his pikes there, 1 unit in Testudo up against his general, 2 units that were sort of that little defender force in the centre, between mine and the Scipio's army. They're still there. He's come out of Testudo. He's now surrounded by 2 silver shield pikes and about to be probably 3 royal pikes. My general cleared out that Spartan, unless that's him retreating there. So I've got a blob of 3, well, basically 2 urbans there, fresh urbans. These guys are all fresh with my general. I've got 2 more, one of them's pretty good urban, that's just to the left in the centre. The Trajan's moving the rest of his pikes up in the centre to push onto my general, no doubt to tie my lines down here, my 4 or 5 units I've got here. He wants to tie down the front of me now, and then so that these guys can come around the side, but you can see I'm making it difficult for these half of Sparky's army to come through, so the only thing he's going to be able to flank me with is this force that's taken out my cav pretty sharpish. So yeah, I'll need to watch out for that. Could probably do with chucking maybe that 2 of them back, or 1, or maybe the big one back just to hold them up a little bit, but still in earshot of the general. As we move across to the Greeks, they've completely gone save 2 Spartans and his general, which is in the centre. He's getting shit up. I'm probably shooting him with the flaming archers. Everything's going in there. The little defender force that Trajan sent in is doing quite nicely. He's still got most of it, and he's coming into the back, and he's got that quite nicely worked. But the trouble is, I think this guy here, this 17 is going to let him down, because as soon as I pour through that, the first thing I'm going to do is turn and try and take out these Seleucids, because once one of them goes, they're all going. The general's pretty far away at the moment. Esrax is just lining up his cav probably for one last hit. He's got a few archers making his way around the side. My archers are still out on the right, and Esrax's general is in behind his main force. So I'll sort of stay at this. Guess something like that. Just remember the 2 cataphracts are off to our bottom left. Okay, so Esrax is making his move over here on the right. He's pulling all his cav out along with Elton, so they look like they're going for it. The Greek general's gone already. So it looks like we just need to pile forward and tie down all these pikes so that the cav can do a bit of hammer and anvil on, and they'll need to watch that they don't turn though. See, these guys are always setting their pikes. Yeah, it's all nice and messy. That's what I want. I faced up a couple of my general and the other guy that was there just to hold them down a little bit and keep them from just getting in behind our lines. As it is, a lot of my stuff. Oh no, that's the Greeks routing off, so that's pretty good. Esrax is coming for a big hit on the right with Elton as well. They've moved through. They've routed off those two saluters. If they can get the two that are there on the right as well, that'll free up the whole army, save a couple of my units. But I don't mind sacrificing mine now if it means that Esrax can get himself in a position to win the game. Catfracks aren't coming in yet. They're obviously waiting probably for their time to strike. My units are starting to rout off now, so we need to start doing something. I could probably do with saving my general just as a bit of a morale boost at the end of the day, at the end of the game, but yeah, numbers aren't doing too bad. Esrax is starting to line his infantry up now. He's pushed his way away through the Greeks, save one Spartan that's making his way in behind the Macedonians, which is all lined up where my general was. I've not moved my general, he's still engaged. Esrax has gone for the big wide line, so he's probably going to just sort himself out for a minute. I've still got them all gobbledygook and sort of facing a different way. So, you know, if we could get one unit in bind here and start taking out these couple and get into this Macedonian left as we're looking at it now, it'd be alright. I brought some cav back, but the Seleucid general's seen it with the Catfracks. Sparky's moving his cav out to his left. We're in behind Sparky now. He's moving his cav out to the left whilst they support where I wanted to be aggressive. I'm still just holding him up. I just want to keep him from being able to do the end game thing on Esrax. The Seleucid is sending in his general into the side of Esrax's urbans. That's not a bad strike. He's taken out one of them. We could do a bit of aggressive there, because if we can take that Seleucid general out, that'll be nice, because his will collapse like a house of cards. He's having a little dig at my urbans here. They're pretty full as well, so could do probably defending against them. Macedon's moving up with his infantry up against a few of the stragglers of Esrax. Looks like Esrax is going to do a similar thing to last time. I know I'm sort of doing what I wanted to do, as in sort of baiting them to do stuff, but could do with not giving them away for free, if you see what I mean. That's the trouble with what I'm doing at the moment. Right, okay, I'm just going to have a swig on my cup of tea. Oh, lovely, lovely. It's a bit hot. And we'll just have another look. Sorry, I'm totally up against, you know, I can't think straight today, but I'm in it now, so we'll have to keep stopping it, I'm afraid. So, right, we'll come behind. We'll come behind our lines as it is now. So, in the bottom left, Esrax has got a couple of archers. Their tide got a little bit left. I've pulled out what's left of the archers. They're getting ready to take out. It looks like they're going to form up in a box. We'll go into that in a second though. So Esrax has got few winded, few warmed up, pretty battle depleted there. He's got 4 chunky ones and then a couple of other little stragglers there. Out to the back, I've got a couple of stragglers, half-size ones that are just coming back. I pulled my general out now. I'm going to probably try and keep him in behind and just use him as a morale boost on the other wing, or try and do something with him. Esrax has got a couple of little chuck-away units up in Testudo. He's pulled out his infantry that was going in on the right there, pretty much 3 half full, and the general's got loads left. I've got a few little stragglers out there that have come back from routed. Esrax has got quite a lot of his cav left. I think that, fair few of it. Cav hits out here on the right, on our right flank. Out to the right, there is what's that? Silver shield. Looks like it's come back or something up there at the top right. But we'll see if that comes back into effect. We'll speak to them later. So let's have a look what they've got. So on our left flank, they've got some Cretan archers moving around to the side there, no doubt going to shoot us up. Esrax has got Elton's got a bit of cav out there, so he's probably going to try and take him out, or at least distract the cav. My last unit's just been taken out, got sandwiched between the 2 cataphracts, and there's some Greeks there as well. Sparky's starting to form up into a box. They'll be able to get a nice tight box with that going as well, because they've got nice long pikes. So if they can get it tight, they need to just you need to treat it like a spiral, really. Sort of set your stall out like that, like they have with like Los and Rough, and then you sort of start bringing one of them back in, then the next one, then the next one, and work your way round and round until you're nice and tight and got like a hexagon with no right angles. That's the way to do it. And yeah, I was struggling to take it down, but I say we in the looser sense of the form, because it's all on S-Rack. So those cataphracts are going to pull away from the main box and come and marry up with Sparky's cav. They're probably going to chase off the Praetorian cav of Elton out the back right. Yeah, so I've got no cav and just basically 3 depleted units of infantry, but I've got some archers. They haven't been firing all game. They're a bit tired, so they're resting up until we get our main attack. Of course, someone really wants to get hold of me. Okay. Right, so Esrax is starting to send a bit of his cav out with some of his urbans to take out those Cretans. I'm just reforming up and just going to, my aim is to just support Esrax where possible, or be a bit of bait if I can. Obviously, what we want to try and do is get them out of this box, but whether they will or not. Yeah, this is nice from Esrax out here on the left as we look at it. So he's sending his Praetorian cav in to try and take out the Seleucid, but he's also preempted it by chucking out those 4 fairly decent cohorts. He's also got two Praetorian cav coming in from the left. Are they going to catch the general in time? If they can just pen him in and take him out, that'll be quite nice. Not that there's too many Seleucids left, but every little helps. Yeah, he's penned them in now. That's a lovely move there. So sent two lots of 2 cav one way, 2 the other, and penned them in. I don't know whether those other cataphracts will come back or whether they got away. So that's quite nice. Let's go and have a look at what's going on in the infantry. So the Scythe chariots have actually come back, funny enough. I need to start firing at them with some flames just to take them out. Yeah, there you go. So that sent them into it straight away. What that has done, though, is that he sort of pulled them in a bit early. He probably could have done with waiting until they were engaged and doing it, but it's forced them. They were obviously trying to rush out to try and make it a hammer and anvil. Now they've broken their formation, so if we can get in there before they get set up, we could probably take a few digs at them without taking too many digs ourselves, as they're not in phalanx and things. Scythe Chariots is doing us a nice little favour as well. He's just running in there just to mix it up a little bit more. Esrax is bringing those 4 urbans that he sent chasing, bring back in. I've committed my urbans, which isn't too bad, but I think they're just starting to form up a little bit now. Yeah, he's got his phalanxes sorted, so Esrax doesn't look like he wants to get involved yet, so I could really do with pulling away, because you don't want to just chuck away troops for no reason. The Scythe Chariots are ploughing into the side there. That's routed off those 3 units that were in there, so yeah, one of them. But it did take them up. It looks like, yeah, they're going to just reshape now. Sparky's coming in for a strike on my archers, which I'm not looking at. That might be a nice little bit of bait, though. Again, it's balled them out of formation. Nope, so that was a waste by me. Let them get robbed for no reason. So I'm out of the game now. I've just got my general in there, really. But he's actually like a nice little bit of bait. They seem to be quite eager to attack. So if they can go for him with all these behind, I'm pretty sure if they do that, Esrax will be obliged, will quite happily oblige and attack them. Looks like they're going to form up there. They're not going to take the bait. Some more Seleucids. Those Seleucids are coming back in, so they'll do a little bit. Yeah, we're going to try and take out the stragglers. They're doing the same, trying to take out the archers. If my archers come back, that would be quite nice, just because they are quite useful in the end game. Okay, I didn't move the counter down, did I? Alright, so I think Esrax is going down the resting up as much as possible route. They have broken formation though and gone for my general, which is okay, but if Esrax is in the mood, like he looks like he's going to be, he's rushing up his infantry that's coming from the bottom now. He can now engage them, or if he can get a nice little surround on them, when they're not in proper formation, it might be a good time to hit them with the cav. As it is, they're not in a thingy formation, but it looks like Trajan's going to shore up the back of it before the general can get in there. Yeah, they faced up, so that was a nice little strike. Didn't quite get my general, I don't think, but yeah, it was a good chance to attack. I think we probably took a few out. They probably took a few out. Out the back here, you can see that Esrax's cav is sort of making its way around trying to get these archers. Sparky's cav's right there as well. I don't know if, unless he proper surrounds it, sort of thing, whether it'll beat it or not. So he might not fancy that. No, Esrax is going after him. He's bringing some more cav over there as a bit of backup. They're going to try and hit my general, but, you know, like I said, if that's the case and then Asrax catches him, I don't mind sacrificing him for that. Sparky's using what little cav he's got to use a little hammer and anvil. Seleucids are starting to go in the middle. This is the trouble when you're sort of in this situation and you've got weak morale units with no general around. I know they've got the Macedonian general, but they've not got their own general around. It can sort of do that, and it's not so much bad for you, it's bad for the people who are next to you. I've done that a few times when I play as Pikes, especially the Seleucids. It just sort of collapses, and it just collapses the whole line. But yeah, that's probably just because I'm not good at using them. Yeah, managed to get into the centre. Macedonian general's gone, so we're getting right into the infantry now. If he can just get a little strike on it into the side of these two here, that'll be that. One of them's a bit of defeat. I don't know who that is. So yeah, they're not quite in a proper box. So they got these 90 degrees that you can get. See these guys here, they're getting into the side of them where they're not quite in a box. But yeah, it was one of them. I guess they felt they needed to do something because they couldn't afford to let Esrax let all his urbans rest. But yeah, one of them. My general's there somewhere, is he? My general's still alive? I like to use him at the end to fight in the thick of it. Is he going to get there? Anyway, yeah, so yeah, that was a good game. I assume that we obviously had the faction advantage at the beginning, so we were the favourites. But it was pretty good defence. It was almost three, it was three different ways of Romans attacking Pikes and three different ways of Pikes attacking slash defending against Romans, if you like. So yeah, it was quite nice to see all that. We've obviously seen the most successful, but like I said, more often than not in sort of battles like this, you sort of get one. It's more a seesaw, so it's more you can roll up their opponent first, and yeah, we just maybe edged it a little bit and had a bit better infantry at the end, which is how often these 31k games go to. So good game to everyone. I enjoyed that. I hope you do too. Sorry I went into it so much, but yeah, I'm just a bit out of it. So yeah, well, hopefully it'll get better. But yeah, I'm bloody knackered now. Right, see you in a bit.
Follow me, Blaezer.